Hello, everyone, and welcome to the third and final round of the 2021 Shelly Sharpe Memorial, presented by Spinners on the Green. Of course, we have your lead card action coming at you. Gary to the O, along with myself, Terry Miller, the disc golf guy, and hole number one. Well, I think it's safe to say, Gio, we have not been impressed over the last couple days with the action on hole number one.
No, we've seen 3 cards, 2 foursomes, so 8, 11 people play this hole, and I don't think we've seen a single good shot yet.
Well, there's maybe been one, but they have been lacking, and a little bit of nerves can come into play, of course, because you do have the triple Mando. It's the first hole of the round. It's a hole you really kind of expected to get a birdie. It's one of the shorter ones on the course. And Drew Gibson has a healthy lead, a 4-stroke advantage over last year's champion in Adam Hammes.
Yeah, but Adam Hammes is coming off of the hot round yesterday. He shot 11 down, rated 1073. He had an ace on hole number 3. You know, he's making a charge.
Well, a little bit of momentum. We'll see if that carries over for him. Lines up the forehand and plays into that
Really interesting.
hillside.
Yeah, it's a really interesting play considering, you got the fence there, and now he's going to have to be putting downhill. But, he shot 11 down. I'm guessing he turned his putter on after round 1.
That fence, if that comes into play, that actually could get through it and could be OB. So he's lucky that it stops.
There you go. We've been looking for that all weekend.
Little rowdy crowd coming in from Dukes, as you would expect.
Yeah, it's really a great place to hang out and after your round, or just watch some disc golf. You can, when we've been live over the years, they've had that on all their TVs, and Henry Manahan, their first 3 players, they had a really good shot, and I don't know what happened to him, but
Not quite on point, but he does have a good layup that should put him in position to walk away with the par. And Drew Gibson has really been taking his time when it comes to his putting, that I've noticed over the last round. And first putt of the day, of the round, he's going to use his full 29.5 seconds.
he just caught a little bit of a branch. I wonder if that could have probably went in if he did not hit that. And, Drew's talked a lot about his putting, I feel like, over the last couple of years. So, I think that's something he concentrates on during the off season.
Adam, I know you're from Wisconsin, but you don't have to warm up your hands. I don't know if that's a whale sack or a hot hands. I'll go ahead and say it's a whale sack, but
It's it might have been 1 or 2 degrees cooler today. He might be feeling it.
Temps in the mid 70s, almost no wind to speak of. It's been just gorgeous out here.
There you go. Adam Hammes starting off with a great putt.
Just about circles edge and downhill, very confident stroke right into the center of the chains.
This should be a fairly easy putt for Drew. Right around circle's edge, a little bit inside. I really expect him to make this. Ooh. That's rough. He's given up 2 strokes right away to Adam Hammes.
Yeah, and we saw Barela parked as well, so a 4-stroke lead looks like it'll quickly be cut in half. And Henry with a little bit of meat on the bone, and
he's cleaning it. He's cleaning that bone right off. There you go. We see AB taking a stroke back from Drew. 2 strokes from Drew as well.
And 1 down, and just like that, like we said, starting to chip away here in the early goings. 16 or, well, we'll call it 17 holes left to play if I do the math right. Hole number 2, 369 feet. We've seen a lot of forehand shots. I think it's because when they're going with the hyzer out to that right side, if you come up short, there's just not a good look at the basket. And you have to make sure that it's low if you're going to play the ground play and the skip. But we've seen people with powerful forehands just go out to that left side and try and pull it in that way.
And talk about powerful forehands. He's He goes a little bit low, but he'll get that ground play. And I don't know about you, but he really seems to be liking that hill today.
Two for two from the hillside, being placed up there. We'll see what he can do with that putt. Looks about the same distance.
There you go, another power sidearm. Quite a bit higher. Turned it over just a little bit and just flashing right in front of the basket there.
Thanks.
I don't know what I'd give, but it'd be a lot to have a forehand that looks like Anthony Barela's. It's just absolutely incredible.
It's effortless. I feel like if I'm going to try to throw 369 feet, one, I'd probably need two of them. And my arm would probably hurt after both of them.
Henry not quite pulling that all the way over to the left side. I think he's going to have a little bit of obstruction over there. And we've seen Drew throw very few forehands. He really does it only when he's in a bind, it seems like. So you're much more likely to see him go with some of these power backhands.
And I feel like this is the kind of course where you really want to have a solid forehand. I mean, there's a lot of holes that really play to that strength. And if you don't have it, you better have one heck of a backhand. Yeah, Henry there, no other option but to lay up that tree in the way. That would have been a really tough birdie.
Yeah, again, I love the discipline. We saw a little bit of that yesterday. Sometimes when you're out of position, I know there's not a ton of trees on this course, but if you do get behind one in just the wrong spot, just be smart about it. Don't give anything away. Don't try and make a hero shot.
Adam Ham is going 2 for 2 right off the bat. We saw him during round one where, he was really struggling from that distance, and I think he's really found his putting stroke finally. Maybe not finally. He did shoot 11 down the first round. Or second round.
One of those.
Yeah.
And a great pickup there by Drew. And you see, obviously, outstretched due to the tree there. A little bit downhill.
Yeah, if he's going to want to keep that lead and not let anybody cut into it, he's going to need to be making putts like that.
A B for the easy cleanup and the birdie. So just like that, we're going to see 3 birdies here on hole number 2. And Henry's eventually going to make his way over.
There we go. On to hole 3.
I know some had asked, there is some disinfectant of some sort. I don't know if it's a Clorox or whatever it might be. I don't know if it's a bleach, some kind of mixture. And the players were asked if they would please spray it down for whoever holes out on the final putt of each hole. So that's what that was. I know that was asked in the comments. As we take a look over here at hole number 3.
We got another hyzer here. It's wide open there on the left, so for these power sidearm players, they're definitely going to be taking that. And for the backhand players, it plays to their strength as well. But I really do think the play here is the sidearm. I mean, look at that.
There's that hillside you were talking about. Maybe Adam is thinking about winter, Wisconsin, sledding. Like he's just got hills on his mind that he has to go out
live in Wisconsin anymore?
No, but that's where his roots are from, northern Wisconsin.
Oh, I know, but let me tell you, as a person from Wisconsin, if I had the opportunity, and I would definitely move away from the snow.
I love me some Wisconsin. Here's Drew.
You can keep it.
AB did not love his shot, but he's still in position. Drew's going to throw a nearly identical shot to the previous hole, maybe a little bit more height to it.
Yeah, you really got to look out for that. I don't know what that is, a drainage or just some random pipes and cement in the middle of the park. I don't know what that is, but you really got to watch out. We've seen this in the past get caught in there. Henry looking to do something similar.
If you're old enough, actually, I believe that's the entrance to Super Mario Brothers. That's where you get in there. That's actually level 1. You go down.
I thought so, but I didn't.
Eventually, you'll find the princess.
I didn't want to take my chances. We had some work to do today. There you
Yeah.
go, hitting from the hill. If we could only get a little bit of elevation on every hole, maybe he'd shoot 18 down over here.
Definitely on point here in the early goings, putting some pressure on.
You know, when you're down 4 strokes coming into the last round, I mean, that's pretty much what you want to do. You want to put as much pressure on. You don't want to give up any strokes. You just want to keep putting the pressure on so that person in the lead just, you hope they throw some bogeys, miss some putts.
AB with the easy cleanup, and now Henry a little bit high and tight, but that one gets pulled in by the Chain Star Pro. And again, even on some of our shorter putts, I noticed Drew making sure that he takes all of his time, really maintaining that focus. And a perfect result by Gibson. So we got a star frame on hole number 3.
I feel like that's something we haven't had a really chance to talk about. We haven't really seen a lot. I think we saw a couple yesterday, but there hasn't been a lot of star birdies, any star pars.
It sounds like you're calling him out, Gio. You've been disappointed. Okay. We're moving on to hole 4. I'm not going to let you dig a hole here. We're going to go on to hole 4. There's OB on that left side, and you could find the OB deep of the basket. And speaking of the basket, as we were about to take a look there, thanks to Pete Ulibari. I know I've mentioned it every round, and I'll continue to do so. Thank you so much for the drone previews and flyovers for us, as Adam's going to hang it out way wide to the right. And watch that push back. And
that's perfect.
Yeah, he is just dialed. That's the first time we've seen a legitimate park job. In the first 3 holes, we've seen him make good putts. Now he's going to take a little pressure off himself. And, Barela, he finally misses that tree that he's been talking about, but he goes deep, and now he's going to be OB, just like we saw him in round number 2, except for in round 2, he was left of the pin. This time he's just behind it.
So you don't really see a lot of players going deep OB. You see them going to the left side of the basket there. And Drew going really wide with his hyzer, and you can't really see it, but that is OB. There is a line that kind of splits that tree he went around. And he went far right of it. You see Henry just not wide enough, and he hits it, and he's going to leave himself quite a bit short.
Henry with the wide open jumper.
Yeah, I'm not saying that's unmakeable, but I feel like your chances are really low making that putt.
I love the run he gave at it, though, and I love the pro move. He got out of the way of my camera because he wanted to watch that thing fall into the basket and make sure the camera got it. A solid run.
See Drew with a... that had to have been like a 45-footer, and he may put enough power on it, just probably a little too much. Maybe taking his time after going OB. And he says, worst putt of the tournament. I feel like we've seen him airball a couple of putts like that.
I mean, I wouldn't remind him of that, but definitely unexpected, I think, is really what you're saying, because we've seen him make so many good putts. His putter was basically on fire for the first 2/3 or 3/4 of the Saturday round. Mm-hmm. And then so to watch him not draw medal, I think in the back of his head, he had to be thinking, okay, you win OB, now just walk away with the par just like he did yesterday. But clearly he overthought something, because that did not draw medal, and that's very unexpected.
Well, and this being his home course, I'm assuming it's his home course. I don't think he lives too far from here, but you'd think he comes out to this tournament expecting to. Well, every player expects to win it, but Being your home course, you think you know all the lines, and you think you got it all down, and to go deep OB like that.
Harness some of that power that he's got. So we head over to hole number 5. I'm going to do my best to pull up some continued statistics that we've been getting a little bit from the PDGA Live. I love the live scoring app. All our players are using it. It has become one of the industry standards out here at tournaments. Some players are also using UDisc as a backup to that to make sure all the scores are entered in correctly.
And they're also using that. They're not using any sort of paper scorecards at all this weekend. Everything is going to be digital due to spread of COVID. They want as less contact as possible.
On the walk-off by Henry.
Now, we've seen these first couple of shots, and they're making this look really easy.
Beautiful shot. We watched AB throw this same somewhat beat. I believe it's a rock. We've said it is all weekend, so we're just going to have to assume that it is.
Yeah, and
because
he keeps
I
throwing
could be wrong all weekend. But
he throws it left, and it turns over, and it just glides slowly to the right. Whatever it is, he knows how to throw it.
It's either that or it's a wombat.
All right.
I'm just kidding. It's not. Drew, really good drive as well. I believe that's a buzz that he throws quite often. Here's
looking to go for 5 for 5 to start this round.
Another medium to long range putt and making it look so easy.
Do you think he even tries to get close to the basket? Or
I don't know why he'd bother at this point. He's made 4 putts from either the circle or just outside of it. Stick with what works.
And Drew, at this point, I feel like he's just trying to keep pace with Adam so he can keep that what little lead he does have now. And
I know they're wearing masks. We got to wonder if he can still feel Adam breathing down his neck or whispering in his ear. I'm coming for you.
Not if he's social distancing.
No, of course not. I mean, I expect that. But well, pretty incredible. These guys attack and take care of hole 5 pretty easily. As we're going to move over to hole number 6, the first par 4 of the round. And thank you to all my Patreon supporters and subscribers. I've picked up a few this weekend, and I'll say it time and time again. It's because of you we're able to get this coverage out here this weekend for you, along with a number of other events where I do post-production. And OB on the left and a somewhat tight OB on that right side, 783 feet. We've seen some incredible forehands last round, and Adams lining one up here.
I don't think that trend's going to stop. I bet you if we played 8 rounds here, we'd see probably 8 really fantastic forehands from Adam Hammes.
Looks like prime position for him. Henry's going to put down the roller, miss the tree.
The only other roller I feel like we've seen this weekend, it wasn't very successful, but Henry puts it down and keeps it in bounds.
Yeah, that's the one problem, is if it gets up and turns over on you on that right side, it's very easy to find that OB line. And yesterday, AB smashed this forehand drive, and today he says, I'll do it again.
Yeah, with a forehand like that, and you can throw consistent, these holes are going to be really easy for you.
Yeah, at 783 feet, when you're able to take off that much and put yourself with just a really good line at the basket. Drew is going to take a little bit more of a conservative route and really more or less rely on his second shot to do more of the work. But that's also good placement if you've got that power.
I still feel like even that to throw it that high is, you're probably throwing it just as far as these other 2 guys are throwing their forehands. Are just a little more curve.
That is a very dicey shot that he executed well, going up that right side, because if you hit something and hit and land OB, you don't probably progress too far down the fairway.
And that shot scares me right there because just like that, he's out of bounds.
Yeah, it looked like he slipped. Yeah, I think he was a little frustrated. Some of the grass, obviously, quite brown, and as they're in the middle of one of their longer droughts that we've seen here in Arizona. That skip from out of bounds to inbounds? Is that what I saw?
That is what you saw. And I don't know. He's right at that circle's edge. You think he's got this putt?
Well, if the previous 4 out of the last 5 have shown us anything.
AB, for the second day in a row, I feel like we've seen that exact same throw. He's probably thrown from just about either the same distance and almost the same location. It's really impressive where Henry wound up after that, kind of dicey lie he had after that roller, and just can't capitalize on that one.
As you said, just at circle's edge, literally about 1 foot inside of it. And
Nothing.
it's too easy.
Do we need to get some smaller baskets out here for him or something?
I don't know if he wants to go quite that far, but you can tell that he is in the zone and feeling it here. Drew, of course, with a very mixed bag. Seen him putting with a Discmania putter there. We've seen the Buzz. We've seen a few Legacy molds. I think he had just thrown a Wraith that put him to where he had gone out of bounds there. So what is that? Four different manufacturers right there. I'm not sure if he carries any of the Arobi or... yeah, he might have some Arobi. Or maybe he might have a Lightning molder too as well. I'm not sure.
I can tell you what he's not carrying. Not carrying the lead anymore.
I see what you did there. And AB picks up the birdie.
He did not put himself in necessarily the greatest position after throwing OB, missing a putt. Now he's already given up 1 stroke or had him gained a stroke. And now he's given up 2 in 1 hole. Would you say the wheels might be coming a little bit loose for Drew?
I don't know. He's going to have to get something together here. It just doesn't feel like he's got any pizzazz or momentum, really. I mean, I know that word gets used often, but it's the perfect word right now. Adam is just slaying it right now. He's 6 for 6, and he's picked up all of those strokes on Drew and then some. And at no point in the rest of this round does Drew have any specific advantage over Adam when it comes to the layout of this course. Adam's one of the few people that can throw as far or farther than Drew does. And we're going to see some of that maybe here on hole 7.
I want to say this was really impressive. I feel like we've seen that sidewalk a couple of times over the weekend, but I feel like that's one of the farthest drives we've seen.
Yeah, this weekend it is. And anytime that sidewalk is within a few feet of where you land, somebody was putting the hurt on a disc.
Yeah, and AB says, you're not going to show me up.
Okay, well, there you go.
Like, he's almost putting for eagle right there.
Henry's going to play it a lot lower. And it gets mostly a straight skip, but it kind of creeps over to that left side, which can bring that tree line into play.
Drew, he just needs to stop the bleeding. He really needs to make something happen here if he wants to stay in contention here.
Yeah, that pushes left, and now, like I said, not only will those trees come into play a little bit, but he's also going to have a sharper angle at the mandatory that's up near the basket. Henry goes out and around and puts himself inside the circle.
And that was a really good shot. I mean, he didn't really get he got a lot farther out the tee than I thought he did, but that was a really good second shot to put him inside the circle.
And cameraman admit there that I was not expecting him to go high and up and over. I was really thinking he was taking a low line at that basket to get around the Mando, and he obviously put that one up high, and I was not expecting that at all.
Yeah, I was looking at the line. I thought, he was going to go maybe low skip shot, and he just threw it up and executed perfectly.
And a little tree love. Kind of surprised to see such a mistake there. I mean, he got through and it's going to work, but that is a routine approach. And for how dialed he's been today, it was kind of surprising to see him make that mistake.
I don't think that was a mistake. I think he meant to hit the tree so he could get right around circle's edge.
Good call. Good call.
That awful band hit. Nobody wants to hear that.
We'll see if it's a one-hit wonder.
Ooh.
Chaos. Wow, and cashing in another one. Adam starts out. He is 7 for 7 right now. Drew right there for the birdie as well. He's hoping to answer, but it's hard to think about any mistakes out of Adam with how much he's just clearly been dialed.
Yeah, I feel like Adam's going to need to falter for him to lose this tournament. He's come out hot. Drew's got a couple of bogeys on the front so far. He just needs to keep that up.
I want to give another big shout out. Spinners on the green, of course, along with all the sponsors and supporters you've seen in between the holes. As we head over to my favorite hole on the course, hole number 8, the downhill, 360 feet. Lots of different options. One thing we're not seeing at all this year is the big hyzer out and to the right of the pines. I feel like that's taken a little bit more when we see higher winds, but for the most part, people are going straight at it, whether it's a mid or maybe a fairway driver.
I feel like there's just a handful of players that even do that. There was a couple of people in the crowd talking about that. You think of like Simon Lizotte or maybe even an Eagle McMahon might take that route.
And I feel like, all three, maybe even 4 out of 4 of these players would, if the wind, called for it. I know they all have more than enough power to do so, but it's so calm. It feels even a little bit more satisfying watching them throw these beautiful shots. AB wanted it to slow down yesterday. And about the same distance, except for just a few feet short today.
He's not going to complain about that one.
Doesn't quite flip up like we've seen it do in past throws, where it feels like that buzz kind of flips up and maybe even turns over for him. And instead, that one just kind of rode it straight and hyzered off. This is a putter. And I don't know. Can we call that Adam land right at the circle's edge?
Is that circle Adam maybe?
Drew with a long attempt.
Oh. Now we saw AB park, but this might as well call this park for Adam because he's been flawless at that range. And just making it look easy again.
A couple of his putts have been just a hair left or right. Not that one. That was on the pole the whole way. And just like that, Adam is 8 for 8, trying to defend that Shelly Sharpe title that I watched him capture last year at this time.
Do you know what the course record is on this?
Like maybe 1 million.
I think Adam's going to play for 1,000,001.
We've seen some really hot scores throughout the years. I feel like as that one gets pulled in, I feel like we've seen some maybe 14s or 15s or 16s. Of course, like so many big tournaments, sometimes you see a slight shift and then you argue about whether the course is a new course and there's a new course record. But I feel like we've seen 14s or 15s throughout years at the Memorial. And clearly Adam on pace for that and then some, coming out 8 for 8.
These players are doing really well. Make sure that they put their mask back on. And
Yeah,
I know we've seen that a lot.
A lot of restrictions out here, and we're just blessed to be able to play. I know some criticism and whining out on some of the boards on the internets I hear, but at the end of the day, I feel like whatever it takes for us to be able to play or watch golf, and if that's adhering to local rules, whether you love them or not, if you want to play, that's what this is all about. So anytime you're not throwing is when you're asked to be masked up, as both you and I even were as cameramen throughout the weekend. And Adam out over the water, the forehand.
Yeah, just a little bit short, but he's safe at 482. This is really you're really playing this for 3. Not many players are getting down there to at least getting into a position where they can get the 2 without, maybe making a long putt.
And that actually sticks in the pine tree. You never saw it come down either from the catch cam, did you?
No, I mean, when they throw those sidearms like that, I don't really even see. Actually, a lot of these drives, you don't even see them until they either get over the top of those trees, like Henry's did here. That's a really good shot.
Just off the dance floor. Yeah. Maybe we should put a helmet on you when you're down there trying to catch this one in particular.
I don't know if we need to go that far.
I'd like to protect you from yourself, though, a little bit, too, out here. As Drew finds himself in bounds, but a little bit short. We see him lining up. And, wow, and he actually second guesses himself a little bit. He's going to switch it up.
Yeah, that's not always necessarily a good sign when you see a player like stepping up like that, just about to throw, and then they quickly turn back and grab another disc.
Yeah,
and it didn't work out for Drew.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it was the right decision or execution. Yeah, who knows what was going on there, but Drew a little bit frustrated. Understandably so. I mean, he's played so well, as you mentioned. He, a pair of 9 unders, to get him here, which is a weird way for me to say that, but he's 18 under going into the round, and it just doesn't look like he's playing the same golf he was.
No, and he's gonna finish the front 9 here at 18 under. So not gaining anything, not losing anything, but the way Adam Hammes is playing, and even Anthony Barela, he needs to do a little bit more.
Do more like what we just saw by Henry Manahan, a birdie. Very tough to come by here, as we said on hole number 9. Barela's trying to save his par. He is actually, the disc is just above his head.
Down. Oh my God, dude.
Oh, and he gave it the power. Unfortunately, a little bit too high for him. So we heard SpongeBob yelled out. That's, I believe, one of Henry's nicknames. So that's what I need for you to leave in the comments. Tell me your favorite cartoon character, any age, any generation. Let me know your favorite cartoon character in the comments if you want to be eligible to win some stuff. And we see Drew take the bogey there. A little bit of workout here, and let's hope. Wow, he takes his first par. Let's hope that the wheels haven't completely fallen off.
Can we just call it game over? Like somebody besides Hammes is going to win this?
I don't know. Henry wants to check in with some beloved family members. We'll see you guys in the back 9.
Janix and Manahans, I'm so happy. I hope you guys are able to watch it. We have Charlie, we have Luke, Walter, and Teddy, and we also got Lincoln and Marty. I'm so happy you guys are able to watch, and we had a great time today, and I love you guys. Take care, okay? Thank you.